Rah, 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 rah. Steve Wilks, rah, rah, rah. All right, so Steve Wilks is coming down from the press box to the field. Shanahan announced it yesterday. He announced it. Before we get to Shanahan, here's Shanahan announcing that decision.
We're going to put him on the field this week. Something we've talked about for a little bit. There's pluses to it and minuses to it, but we'll see what we like about this week.
Asked for his preference.
I love being in the box. I think that's the best spot. I feel like you guys would judge me too hard if I went up there. If it ever gets cold enough, I might be. I like a chair and a desk and a lot of stuff to write down and things like that. And I had to do this for 9 years before I got here. I was only in the box 1 year, my last year, so I was 8 on the field before that. There's pluses and minuses to both, so you usually go with your preference.
All right, why Wilks started the season in the box and why the change?
Just because of some of the stuff you do in the box, all the advantages to it, which are great, but I kind of wanted to be down and be near our players a little bit. They've had that more just with the linebacker communication in the past, and I want him to be down there so he can talk to guys a little bit more.
All right, there you go. Now, we asked Baldy last week.
Is this the greatest straw man of all time?
I mean, this is just ridiculous. I can't believe we're
No, but seriously, what?
We find new things.
You
to talk
hired
about.
a guy who likes to be up in the booth,
right?
And then he's up in the booth, and the defense is underperforming on a variety of fronts. And you think that bringing him down to communicate with the guys is going to change things?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm
curious because you seem to be very frustrated.
No, I just don't think it makes a big deal.
I don't either.
They missed 33 tackles.
That's what I'm saying.
Travis Ward, stop holding. You need, the whole thing about getting fired up. Now, the Raiders are in a bit different spot. I know they're practice squad players. The Niners practice squad players be on the field, too. I mean, this is just ridiculous. Here's Baldy. Baldy played the game. He played the game. Here's what Baldy said about whether or not it makes a difference if Wilks is in the press box or on the field.
Dan Quinn, he coordinates the Cowboys defense. He sits up in a booth.
Yeah.
I mean, when you start, honestly, Bonte, if you start saying, well, is this going to make a difference? If you're thinking about a coach is upstairs or downstairs, maybe that's the problem right there. Not that he's upstairs or downstairs. It's who gives a? Nobody gives a crap.
Right.
Call the defense.
Right.
If the guy's down the field, honestly, hell, if Shanahan's upstairs calling the plays, call the plays upstairs. It should make a difference. The play's to play. You got to execute the play.
I'm with you.
And so, I'm sure you got the bye week. I'm sure there's all kinds of player-only meetings, which is always a problem. But look, they've lost 3 in a row. By the time they get to the field, the next time, they will not have won a game in a month.
So that's Baldy on whether or not Wilks, or if it's going to make a difference, whether or not Wilks is in a press box or on the field. Now, we had the conversation, probably went on too long about sideline etiquette, getting guys fired up, yada, 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 yada. You get fired up by making football plays. You get fired up by forcing turnovers. Like the Dallas game. We had no problem with Steve Wilks being in the booth. Why? Because Fred Warner was making plays sideline to sideline. Jordan Greenlaw was making plays sideline to sideline, power driving, or literally DDTing Tony Pollard on the sideline. Nobody was worried about the energy. Rah-rah this, rah-rah that. I don't know what difference it's going to make. And Steve Wilks is not a rah-rah guy. So to me, this is on the 49ers, and this is on Shanahan for hiring Steve Wilks. First of all, you hired him, and he can't even run his own defense. You want him to run your defense. So now he's got to learn a new defense and call a defense that he told us 2 weeks ago he's still learning. I'm still learning the defense. It's a unique defense. I'm still learning the defense. You took a chance on this guy, and now you want him to come out of his comfort zone and coach on the sideline. This is a bad hire. And this is on the 49ers for not doing their due diligence on who Steve Wilks is. They'll put him in a bad spot. And now everybody's pointing the finger at Steve Wilks because they're afraid to point the finger at Shanahan. I just don't get it. It's just I can't believe.
So is it the lack of accountability for you?
Absolutely it is. We sound like whiners. We sound like whiners. We really do.
It feels like an excuse.
It is, because the first 5 weeks, we didn't talk. Nobody had a problem with Steve Wilks' defense.
Time out. Just let me I want to stop right there.
First 5 weeks, come on.
Okay, the Rams' first half was bad defensively, and we all admitted it. The Arizona game, we did get diced up by Josh Dobbs.
You gave up 16 points.
I know, but you were giving up over 6 yards a carry.
You gave up 16 points.
I'm just trying to say that
Arizona was running fake punts in the second quarter, fake field goals.
I know, but
they were going
Josh
for it.
Dobbs.
They were just Josh Dobbs ain't bad.
I know.
Josh Dobbs just won a game without knowing the playbook.
But I think in real time, what we were saying the day after was like, how could you even let them, get a little on you? You know what I'm saying?
They're a professional football team. They're up 20-0 on the New York Giants. Did Arizona not beat the Dallas Cowboys? They dissected the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, literally the week before.
With Josh Dobbs.
Yeah, I know, but
so they were playing well.
You're acting like we didn't have conversations about the defense. We did.
No.
No, it
and
wasn't
what happened?
to this level.
What happened? In the second half, Steve Wilks used some of his defense, and he was blitzing more.
Yeah, they
and guess what? They shut the Rams down by blitzing more.
But anybody watching that first half against the Rams, you were kind of going crazy on the defense.
It's a divisional game, and you knew the Rams.
You might not have, but I think a lot of people were.
That's what the Rams do against the Niners at L.A. They moved the ball against the Niners. I wasn't going crazy there during that game. I was like, all right, you got to make adjustments.
I thought they looked pretty good. I'm talking about the Rams offense, and it felt like the Niners defense was way off their receivers, and everyone was like, yeah, we got to adjust here.
And he did. And he did. But again, when they beat the Dallas Cowboys 42-10, where was this same energy? We were saying, who's the better unit, the defense or the offense? They're both great. This is the best team in football. And the numbers backed it up with Steve Wilks. So all of a sudden, they lose a game against Cleveland, and they get punked.
I think we're having a different, I agree. He made adjustments, but we were also saying, whoa, what's going on with the defense? Now, he gets credit for those adjustments in the Rams game, but I was I'm just using that one as an example. I remember going, my God, can we get a stop? Can we figure out how to guard Puka Nacua?
Okay, these are professional football teams that have ballers. They got shut down in the second half, and they're a home team in a divisional game.
But
they adjusted, and they played well. Sure, we had a conversation about the first half. No, you know what the bigger conversation was at the Rams game? Let's talk about it. It was, where's Nick Bosa at?
Well, that
was the conversation.
Yes.
Where's the pass rush at? Yeah. They're not getting any pressure on Matthew Stafford.
That's part of the defense.
That's part of the D-line not doing their jobs.
We agree on that.
What is Steve Wilks? So Steve Wilks being on the sideline, they're all of a sudden going to get more pressure? Because he's going to go get the quarterback.
I don't subscribe to that. Now, do I think that they've always had a rah-rah guy on the sidelines over the last couple of years, and that was a part of their defense, whether it's, a 0.001% of whatever? Yeah, they did. They did. I mean, whether that's coincidence or whether that helped them out or whatever, I don't know. I don't think Wilks is going to be all of a sudden Robert Saleh or D'Amico Ryans chest-pumping guys after they make a stop, and nor do I think it's going to help them wrap up or not hold people. I just find it interesting that the entire defense, though, is basically said to you for 3 weeks now after every game, something's up. And so I'm just listening to the players. Now, is it an escape or a scapegoat by those players?
Fred Warner didn't say that.
It sure feels like it.
Fred Warner didn't say that.
No, but Bosa...
Well, Bosa's complaining. You know what? Bosa can shut the hell up. I said that at home right now. Bosa can shut the hell up. I'm sick of Bosa. All right? Go get the quarterback. You held out and got $120 million, and now all of a sudden you're blaming the defensive coordinator on dirt. When Bosa told us when he came in, oh, yeah, I got to learn a new scheme, but it's all good. I just go rush the quarterback and yada, yada, yada. And when I got on Bosa for not getting a sack in the postseason, people say, well, he may have been hurt. He's still Nick Bosa. What do you want to do? Do you hate Nick Bosa? No, what, Nick Bosa? You held out. You got a bag. You got a bigger bag than everybody anticipated. I don't want to hear from Nick Bosa. I want to hear from Fred Warner, the real leader of the defense. And what Fred Warner say at the Bengals game? Yeah, you know what? We got to be better. We have to be better.
And Fred's always taking accountability. That's why I love Fred.
They missed 33 tackles. When Hufunga's dipping his head and missing tackles, how's that all, Fred? How's that on Steve Wilks?
It's not. No, I'm not saying
so. I don't want to hear from Bosa. When you bring up Bosa, go get the quarterback. You got 3.5 sacks in the last 13 games or 14 games or whatever it is. Make a play. All right? Make a play. I don't want to hear from Bosa. That pisses me off, too. I swear to God, I've never heard so much crying and front running in my life. They were 5-0 coming out the Dallas Cowboys game, and everybody's talking about Vegas and the Super Bowl, and we can't be touched. We're better than Philadelphia, yada, 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 yada. And all of a sudden, a zero blitz happens, and all of a sudden, we got to fire Steve Wilks. Well, you shouldn't have hired him. If you knew that he ran a different defense and wanted to coach in the press box, you shouldn't have hired him.
That I agree with.
So deal with it. And now he's got to come to the field and we're scapegoating him even more. It's tired to me, man.
I don't think him being on the sideline solves whatever their woes are, whether it be personnel, scheme, whatever. But it's interesting that they're resorting to this. It feels like a last-ditch effort to get this guy to change, and it's kind of, you're right, on Shanahan for knowing, you got to know who you're hiring and what their specialty is.
I'm going to calm down for a second, because we're going to get to the calls in a second, because this is some real stuff here. Okay, Steve Wilks hasn't been great. He hasn't. He may not be the guy for the hire.
But I don't think he's like, Jimmy Ray bad.
But let's
like back in the day.
There's context to every single football game. Every single football game. Okay, the Cleveland game, we know it comes down to Jake Moody for the 41-yard field goal. He missed it. He missed a field goal. So you don't win that game. Probably didn't deserve to win the game because the offense in that football game had 8 3-and-outs. All right? They went 12 possessions basically punting. All right? They didn't do anything. So you get to the Minnesota game, the zero blitz is an all-time bad play call. It's an all-time blunder.
Yeah, that one's undefendable.
You can't defend that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Now, Crocker, he'll defend it to say, well, the ball hit Charvarius Ward in the chest. You should have caught it. I'm not going to defend it. I'm not going to defend it. It's a bad play call in that position. But at the same time, the offense had 2 chances to win that football game. And you actually held Minnesota to 6 points in the second half. Okay? There's context to everything. They kept you in the football game. Cincinnati. Was it not a 17-10 football game early in the fourth quarter?
They got multiple.
Know the show. We're playing Know the Show. Something's going to happen on this show in the next 15 minutes. At 7:50, be the first caller to call in and answer the question about what happened on the show first, and you will be on your way to Chase Center, the play knockout. So there's context to everything, right? We just dismiss the 5 turnovers in 5 quarters and go straight to Steve. That's all my problem. Football's not a blame game where it's one player losing a game. That's all I'm saying. Or one coach.
No, I think you're hitting the nail on the head on a variety of fronts. I would just say this. Let me add to this. I think when most Niner fans were heading into this year, I think as the organization was heading into this year, the mindset was, we still have a top 5 defense. And so the way that you view this team and how they were going to run this team and how they were going to win with this team was, relying and banking on a top 5 defense.
Right.
And when you're not playing top 5 defense level, now you're asking more from that offense. And I don't know if they could do it, even though they have elite personnel.
Well,
B? And so it's kind of changed their equation.
Yeah, it'd be nice if the offense could pick up the defense for once in 8 years.
I'm with
once
you.
in 7 years.
15, if we're really being real.
Come on, let's go to the Lions. The whole Steve Wilks thing, he's not been great.
He's been a scapegoat.
I'm not,
I
but
would
he's
agree.
getting scapegoated to a level where I'm just like, wow.
It feels like a last-ditch effort.
And we did the same damn thing with Robert Saleh and DeMeco Ryans. We did the same thing. The same exact thing. And then by the end of the year, it was like, we need more offense. We need more offense. Yeah, duh. We need more offense. That just bothers me so much.